Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to a different kind of video today. Today we're going to be talking about the match reviews, because we've been doing the match reviews for over a year now. Did you know that? It's been over a year since we started the match reviews, and we've been getting incredibly high volumes of responses when it comes to our match reviews. We've been getting like upwards of like a dozen a single week, which I do appreciate. I appreciate that you guys trust me to review your matches and think I am somebody that can give you good advice on how to get more consistent at the game of Dead by Daylight. But there has been some rules that have kind of fallen through the cracks since we've been doing it for so long, and while these are listed on the match review page, I do want to go through them together with you, because a lot of people that discover the match reviews do it through the YouTube, and they kind of just dive into the link and they just post their link and they don't really look at what the rules are. So if you guys are a fan of the match review series, I'm going to go over what my expectations are for the match reviews very, very firmly. Like I said, this will also be directly above where you submit your link in the match reviews as well, so make sure you guys read that before you make a submission. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. Before we get too carried away, we are kind of experimenting with a different kind of layout when it comes to commentary and other videos where I'm just mostly talking. Please let me know if you prefer this over the other one. I feel like I've been kind of using the same like DVD menu in the background thing for years and years at this point, and I don't know, I kind of wanted something a little bit more dynamic and interesting. So let me know if this is something you like. We'll probably record like 2 or 3 videos on this, and if you hate it, we'll just go back to the other one by the end of the week. So yeah, just let me know what you guys feel about this. But anyways, point of the video. Okay, the first rule, and probably the biggest rule when it comes to the match reviews, is that the match reviews as a concept are there to help you identify your mistakes and stop repeating bad habits that are causing you to lose your games. When I'm helping you with match reviews in Dead by Daylight, the point is not to make you a comp player or to win with a 100% win rate. It's for you to abandon bad habits and form more healthy and good habits that help you win more consistently. It's just there to help you in terms of consistency. So for this reason, when you are submitting a match review, please submit me a match review that is a loss or a close win. And what I define by that is if you 4K at 1 generator or less, that is okay. If you 4K at 2 gens or more, you're doing the right thing. The match may be close in your eyes because, well, they almost got down to 1 gen or something like that. By and large, if you have won the match with a 4K at like 2 gens or less, then you have done the right things. You've made the right adjustments, you've tunneled somebody, you've enacted good slowdown, you've had good macro sense, you did something right and smart that pulled the game back in your favor, in which that case you already have a lot of good habits. So I want to look at something you more struggle with, something that would have made the mistakes that you often like to make in games a little bit more obvious. That way I can identify those and help you clean those up. So please make sure you are doing that. This is probably the biggest reason I actually have to reject match reviews. I get a lot of submissions of people 4K'ing at like 3 gens or less, and I think for some people it kind of comes off as like, I want to show off this really good match where I dominated. I had a match review that was sent in fairly recently that was a 4K at 3 gens with no perks and no add-ons. Obviously that person is fairly good at the game if they're able to pull out something so impressive. So something closer to a loss or a close win is something that I am looking for. That way I can more easily identify your mistakes and help you get better. This one should be pretty straightforward, but please send me full games. I've had people send me clips before or montages or something split between more than one match. Please make sure it's one full game. If I'm trying to help you identify your mistakes and form better habits, I need to see the full context of the match. And this includes cutting out like gen time when you guys send in survivor matches. That's very, very important that I actually see everything. That way I know the full flow of the game, though I can see if something is your fault versus not your fault or something like that. So please don't be cutting out parts of the game. That way I have the full context. This next rule is the one that I see probably like omitted the second most compared to the loss versus close win one. And this is, you must show the end game screen. This is the one people just kind of like omit entirely. And the reason that I enjoy seeing the end game screen is because DBD at the end of the day has a lot of RNG to it. And one of the RNG things is not knowing what kind of perks you're going up against until you get into a match. So if the gens are going super fast in a game, for example, I want to be able to see the end game screen for context. That way, if I see like 3 BNPs and a bunch of proved deja vu, I can be like, oh, okay, well, they just brought a ton of gen perks. It's not necessarily your fault. It wasn't bad macro sense. It wasn't that you weren't enacting your slowdown well enough. It was quite literally that you were fighting an uphill battle because they brought so much gen rush into the match. So that is not as much your fault. It helps me identify and clarify a lot of things about the match when I can actually see the end game screen. So make sure you're including that, because sometimes losses aren't always completely your fault, and some of that lies within like the perks or items that the survivors brought. So it's important that I see those. Next, the links that are submitted to the match reviews must be YouTube links. And the reason they must be YouTube links is because I've had some people send in some strange links to other sites, which honestly look kind of sketchy. And even when I've actually tried to go on and use those, a lot of the time they don't work for one reason or another. So it's better if you just use YouTube. If you're confused on how to do that, if you're on PC, you can use OBS. It's what I use to record this. It's what I use to stream. It's free software, very, very easy to use, very, very easy to set up. And you just record that and upload it to YouTube. If you're playing on console, consoles all have their own ways to upload to YouTube that are fairly easy, something you can Google very, very quickly for a tutorial. But all consoles have built-in ways to upload videos to YouTube in 2024, which is very, very handy, very, very nice. But that's why I want it on YouTube specifically, is because sometimes links on other sites do not work, and sometimes your links kind of look sketchy, so I don't want to click them anyway. So please make sure that they are YouTube links. These next rules are ones that have been added more in recent memory, which is kind of the main reason that I am making the video. Most of these have been long-standing since match reviews have been a thing, but these have kind of been added over time because I've realized that they kind of don't really work in the context of me trying to help you improve at the game. So this one, first up, is that there should be no AFK players for over 30 seconds. So whether you're submitting a killer match review or a survivor match review, somebody being AFK for over 30 seconds does not help me help you when it comes to understanding and getting better at the game. Because if you're on a survivor side and one of your teammates are AFK, obviously you guys are going to have a much rougher time for no other reason than the fact that somebody is AFK. And I can't really give you a takeaway that is, oh, well, just have your teammates not be AFK. You're like, that's not a good takeaway. Same thing on the killer side. If one of the survivors are AFK and you just get a lot of snowball from that one person being AFK, like, that's not a consistently good habit, because like it just so happened that somebody, either the pizza rolls were done or their controller batteries were gone. Like, that's not a consistently good habit. You know, that's not something that I can teach and reinforce. So whether it be winning attributed to an AFK or losing attributed to an AFK, AFK is just kind of like throw a wrench into the game. Obviously, the reason I put the 30 seconds little qualifier on there is because sometimes, you know, they're not gone for very long, so it doesn't really matter too much. But if they're gone for over 30 seconds, I would not send that in for the match reviews. Thank you. This is kind of similarly along the lines to the last one, but no DCs are giving up on the first hook within the first 2 generators, so that being by 3 gens. Like I said, for the same reason, if you're sending a survivor match review and somebody gives up on hook or DCs and they're replaced with a bot, you're going to be facing a pretty difficult battle for no other reason than the fact that somebody just gave up. Obviously, that's not your fault, and I want to focus more on what mistakes you are making and not just like the match is really hard because of a DC. And vice versa on the killer side. If you're winning because somebody gave up on hook or because somebody, you know, has DC'd and given you a bot, that's not really you doing something right. That's just kind of like the survivors giving up for one reason or another. But do remember the qualifier that this is only within the first 2 gens. So if somebody DCs after 3 gens or gives up after 3 gens, you've had a sizable amount of time that you've already been playing the game. And usually at some point when somebody DCs or gives up that late in the game, it's usually because of a direct result of like a bad chase or because you're applying too much pressure or something that made them do that. So I don't consider that the same thing. So no DCs or giving up on hook, but if it's past 3 gens, then who cares? Finally, this last one, and this one's kind of weird. I feel like it's one of those things that, like, in real life, I feel like I would never have to say this, but because we live in an online space where things are a little odd here and there, I have to add this one. Match reviews are final. Very weird that I have to say that. I feel like it shouldn't be a thing, but I've had plenty of situations where people have tried to reach out to DM me personally for follow-ups or clarification about something they did in the match. If you really want to have like that feedback, that input in directly into the things you're doing or saying, I do record these live every Monday on twitch.tv/TheMrHeadache. Every Monday about 3 hours in the stream, we do the match reviews live and record them. And the reason we do that is because we have a lot of character specialists in my stream. Obviously my big thing is Xenomorph, but I used to play the whole roster. But I have like artist mains, twins mains, Chucky mains. I have a lot of different like hardcore mains in my stream, so they may know better strategies, they may know better add-on combos than I do on the fly because they are more specialized in specific characters. So there's stuff that they may catch that I might not catch. So it's helpful that we can all kind of do it together. But also at the same time, if you want to directly tell me, okay, well, this is why I made this decision, this is why I did this, like, you can be there. You can be there for the match reviews. But I've had plenty of scenarios where people will try to send me like paragraphs upon paragraphs about like what they did and why they did in the match review. The worst incidents are usually when people send me paragraphs upon paragraphs about why I'm wrong about their match review, which is I don't know. In that case, like, why send me in the match review if you're just gonna like send me a 4-page essay vigorously defending the decision making you made in the match? I don't know. It's like that. It's like those. You guys ever watch Kitchen Nightmares? It's like when Gordon Ramsay goes into a restaurant and he's like, "Wow, this is all terrible," and the restaurant owner's like, "Oh, well, he's wrong. I don't understand why he said that." It's like, but then why'd you ask for him to come help you? Why did you ask for him to come help you if you're just going to complain and fight him at every... I don't do that. I don't do that, man. I don't do that. I'm trying my best to help you. My intentions are always pure. I'm always trying to help you abandon bad habits, form more consistently good habits. I already donate as much of my time as I can to the whole content creation thing in my life. So I would prefer not to like wake up to 4-page essays about how my match review is incorrect. That would be nice. So just say this: match reviews are final. Do not attempt to DM me personally for follow-ups or clarification. If you really have to, the YouTube comments are there. I can get to those when I get to those. But please do not, especially do not attempt to DM me personally about those things. I would very much appreciate that. But yeah, that's it for our little update on the match reviews. Hopefully those rules are concise and make sense. I tried to explain why each of them are there. That way it's not just like me like trying to rules lawyer you, and there's like a motivation that's in your best interest for each of these rules being there. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully for those of you that have been kind of thinking about submitting a match review, now you know what the expectations are. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out. But other than that, it's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, friends. But I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.